Hello and welcome to Fursuiting in the time of quarantine. I hope you're all having an awesome weekend at Texas Furry Fiesta. I'm your host, Shetani. I'm so thrilled to be able to present my panel for all of you here this weekend. Before we begin, I would like to mention that you should please hold all questions until the end of the panel. While I am presenting, we are on a very tight schedule, so I will not be looking at the chat. If you have any sort of questions, comments, or observations, there will be plenty of time at the end of the panel for you all to go ahead and leave those during the Q&A session. Also, barring any technical difficulties, I will have a recording of this panel up on my YouTube channel in the coming days. That'll be at youtube.com/Shetani. The link should be up over my head somewhere so that you can go back and rewatch the panel, catch any bits that you may have missed, or also send it along to your friends who may not have been able to watch live at the convention here. So, let's start off with a brief introduction. Hi, I'm Shetani. My fursona is a king cheetah. I've been an active part of the furry community since 2012, though I had been following along for many years prior. I have been a fursuiter for 6 years and counting now, and it is one of my most enjoyable pastimes. Let's take a look at the situation at hand. As we all know, the furry community is a vast and diverse space, and there are so many different ways for us to connect with the community as well as each other. Though not at all required to take part in furry, there is a small yet passionate minority of us who do enjoy fursuiting. For those of us who have fursuits, of course, you'll know it's a really fun pastime and a great way for us to be creative and express ourselves. We've invested a lot of time and effort into this. Either you paid someone a great deal to make a fursuit just to your specifications, or you yourself made it and invested all of that time, learning process, effort, materials, and everything into creating what are essentially these works of art. Our fursonas are characters that are very near and dear to us. Fursuiting is more than just cosplay. We're not dressing up as characters that somebody else may have created from a video game or a movie or what have you. We've made these characters ourselves, and we've grown very attached to them. And having the opportunity to embody them in the flesh, so to speak, is very personally significant. Fursuiting's not just a performance. In our community, it's a social activity. We've come to rely on fursuits as an aid for socializing, networking, and having fun. Many furries have some level of social anxiety, and no matter which side of the costume you're on, fursuiting helps break the ice, embolden folks to talk to people they normally would not have the ability to, or even go places that they would have never gone before. Naturally, conventions are where the bulk of these social gatherings take place, but of course, with the current state of the world, all in-person furry conventions are on hold for the time being. The same goes for fur meets and the like. And of course, with many places re-entering lockdown, people can't even go outside to public suit. This begs the question, what do I do with my fursuit when there are no in-person events and I can't even go outside to meet up with my friends? Now, many of us can't go to a lot of conventions for a variety of reasons. Could be finances, traveling, physical limitations. Perhaps there just aren't any furry events in your area. I myself do not really go to as many cons as some of the more prolific fursuiters and fandom personalities that you might see online. For this reason, I've gotten really good at finding ways to utilize my fursuit without having to rely on an external event. A little while after the pandemic started last year, I had noticed that a lot of my fursuiter peers on social media were lamenting that they didn't really know what to do with their fursuits, or, they couldn't muster up the ability to get into suit without having anywhere to go or anything to do. They were completely at a loss, and they were saying how it was so sad that their fursuit was sitting over there in the box just waiting for the chance to be worn again. And I thought to myself, well, what's stopping you from wearing your fursuit right now? It threw me for a loop, to be completely honest, and I realized that there was a niche that I could help fill. So I decided, why not share these techniques and ideas with my fellow fursuiters to help make their quarantine experience a little more bearable. So without further ado, let's get into it. At-home photo shoots are one of the simplest and most accessible things that you can do with your fursuit at home. Now, a lot of people are daunted by this at first. You hear the term photography and you imagine something requiring a ton of expertise or fancy equipment. This couldn't be further from the truth. Now, of course, while having that background or capability is very much helpful, for a hobbyist or somebody just looking to take pictures for fun at home, it's by no means required. These days, pretty much everyone has a smartphone right there in your pocket. They are almost required for modern life. For that reason, the smartphone can do a lot more than folks give it credit for. And unless you have an exceptionally old phone, it's likely that it has a pretty high quality camera, definitely serviceable for taking a couple fursuit photos. Now, every fursuit is built differently and has a different set of limitations, but there are some things that are simply harder to do in fursuit if you don't have a handler. A handler is a second person not wearing a fursuit who helps out a fursuiter and assists them with tasks or abilities that they would find a harder time doing on their own because of the costume. Depending on your situation, whether there are people you're currently sheltering in place with, whether or not your household members are willing to help out with your fursuiting, or perhaps you're living alone, regardless, you may find yourself having to manage on your own. Worry not, there are tons of tools you can use to assist with doing photo shoots entirely by yourself. Personally, I am fortunate enough to live with my partner who is also a furry, but there are times when she's busy and she can't help out, or maybe I have a really specific vision in my head for how I want a photo shoot to go, and it's not something that another person can visualize. Or sometimes I just like doing things by myself, or I don't want to bother her for whatever reason. Over the years, I've picked up a ton of tips and tricks for managing fursuit photography. The number one tool, which for me is a lifesaver, is voice activation. If you go into the settings on your phone's camera, there will be a toggle for this. I have an Android phone. It is called voice control. If you've got an iPhone or a different type of phone, it might have a different name. But essentially, this is a setting where you can say a command like smile or capture, and the phone will take a picture for you hands-free. I like to say cheese because it makes my eyes crinkle up, which is very useful for the specific type of fursuit that I have. Voice control, of course, is super helpful for hands-free photography. If your fursuit has big, unwieldy paws that are hard to get on and off quickly, or like me, you have fursuit paws with attached arm sleeves, and you can't take your paw off without completely starting to disrobe, you will find this extremely helpful. Honestly, I think voice activation is underutilized for cell phone photography. Many people don't even know that their phone can do this. You can even use it to record video, not just pictures, though I'll get to that later on. For taking a full body shot or something staged, like a picture in front of a backdrop, you're going to want to place your camera on something instead of holding it. Of course, I recommend investing in a tripod for this. Again, it doesn't have to be anything expensive if that's not financially accessible for you. You can do a lot with just those little 3-leg phone tripods with the bendy legs. Also, selfie sticks were a huge fad a couple of years back. You've probably got one of those just lying around your house collecting dust. Why not go ahead and put that to good use? Don't forget about timers either. You can set up the timer on your phone to take a picture, or you can buy an external little handheld gadget that you can pair to your phone using Bluetooth. Press the button and it takes the picture for you. If you have a smaller hand paw on your fursuit with more dexterity, you can press the button fairly easily, or I've also seen people put the remote inside of the fursuit paw so you can't see it in the shot. And if all else fails, you can always go for the tried and true hand behind the back pose. Remember that you don't have to go out and buy a ton of new stuff. This is all about fursuiting at home for fun with what you already have. Say you don't have a camera tripod. You can put your phone up on some boxes or a stack of books and take the picture that way. There's no need to run out and buy a whole professional lighting setup when a nice well-angled desk lamp can do the trick. Even without that, don't forget about natural lighting. Your fursuit will look different in natural and artificial light. You can play around with this. Set up in front of a window, open the curtains, take a bunch of pictures, and see which you like best. To really make your photos pop, a little bit of editing will go a long way. Perhaps your camera's not of the best quality, or you took a picture that came out a little bit blurry. Some very basic editing can help clear that right up. You especially see this if you're taking pictures with the front-facing camera on your phone, as that's usually of a lower megapixel quality. Many phones will allow you to edit your photos right in the camera app, and of course, if you're posting anything on social media, whatever social media platform you're using will likely have a plethora of filters and tools that you can use to snazzy up your pictures. Even Telegram, which you probably use if you're a furry, has photo controls, really robust photo controls, that let you adjust the saturation, the gamma, the contrast, and everything like that for the pictures that you're sending. Now, most of us don't live in a mansion or have a whole photo studio full of props and backdrops at our disposal. That's okay, this is all just for fun. Use what you've got at home already. Try rearranging your furniture. Maybe put up a poster or something behind you. Use different camera orientations. Basically, see what you can do with what you have. There are a ton of online tutorials and life hack style videos that can show you how to do cool and creative photo tricks with stuff you already have in your house. So, how about some ideas for all these photos you'll be taking, huh? Well, we'll start off with something simple and easy. You've got hobbies other than fursuiting, right? I should very well hope so. Why not go ahead and show those off to the world? If you've got a fursona that is basically just yourself, you can set up scenes that show what you like to do. Or if you have a fursuit that is a separate character, you can think of activities that would fit with their personality or the world that they live in. For example, here we have Wad, who is not only a fursuiter, but a fursuit maker, making fursuits while in fursuit. How cool is that? And there we've got Babbles the bunny, who is outside doing some gardening on a lovely sunny day. Perfect environment for a bunny to be in, and something that really fits with his fursuit character. Cosplaying is a personal favorite of mine. After all, fursuiting is just another form of cosplay. We're simply dressing up as our original characters, rather ones that somebody else made up. I really like combining costumes with my fursuit to help blur the lines and bridge the gap in people's minds. Here is a photo I did of a shoot as Diva from Overwatch in her carbon fiber skin. What I did to kind of flesh out the shoot a little bit more is I just set up a bunch of video game cases, some snacks, gamer things, to kind of stuff that I've already have around the house and make it feel more like a complete photo shoot. As well, we have Fangorn, who is of course dressed as a Jedi Knight from Star Wars, complete with a working lightsaber and some space-related paraphernalia. Bedroom posing is a tried and true furry favorite. Also a valid option for the itty-bitty living space people. Even if you are rooming with folks or you have a bunch of people in your home, I'm pretty sure you at least have a bed to call your own. Things like coordinating bed sheets or stuffed animals that match your fursona's species are good ideas to help bring a little more character to your photos. And whether you're going for sleepy, cute, or even a little bit spicy, there's a whole gamut of moods that you can convey with these type of pictures. Working from home is a unique fursuiting scenario that actually came to be because of the pandemic. If you're fortunate enough to be able to work from home, you can pop your fursuit on and snap some pictures showing what a typical workday is like for you. And even if this is not the case, if you think it would be fun or it would be something that would fit your fursuit character, you can just set up a working from home set and take some pictures anyway. It may sound silly to lay it out like this, but I find that folks do forget sometimes that you can just make up stuff for fun. So even if it is not something that you yourself actually do, if it would fit with your character or your persona, staging photos is totally an acceptable and viable option for any scenarios that your imagination could conjure. Playing with pets is a great one. Here we've got Edward, who is getting in some valuable pooch time, and Blue with his own beloved dog, whose appearance actually inspired the look of his own fursuit. The juxtaposition of real and costume animal is so fun, and it gets so many reactions from folks online. So if you share your life with any animals, dogs, cats, horses, birds, fish, reptiles, rodents, basically, if you've got them available and they are comfortable taking photos with you, they can make for really fun and unique co-stars for your fursuit photo shoots. Do keep in mind, though, that animals often react unpredictably to people in costume, so if you've never tried this before, take time to ensure that your pet is accustomed to your fursuit and interacting with you while you're wearing it. You do not want a traumatized or injured pet or a damaged fursuit. Cooking is another fun photo shoot idea that ties into the hobbies that I mentioned earlier. I'm doing a staged photo here, but there are many fursuiters who can and do actually make food while in fursuit. Bake Me Up Buttercup is the name of an absolutely adorable fursuiter who runs a channel on YouTube where she bakes yummy treats and shares the recipes with her viewers. I recommend checking her out if you are interested, and I will be touching on this again later on as well. Fursuit pictures don't need to be elaborate fantasy scenes. You can just show people scenes from everyday life. Here we've got Captain Julius, who is a cuttlefish, sitting down to have a sushi picnic, which is an absolutely hilarious and creative idea that plays into the species of his character. Meanwhile, Ashram is in fursuit doing laundry, and what makes it even more unusual is that he is washing and hanging up yet another fursuit. So again, there is so much potential for creativity here, and just the fact that a big animal person is doing it can make even the most mundane task memorable and engaging for your audience. For a more specific offshoot of the previous topic, you can show people what you've been doing during quarantine. For instance, I really enjoy dressing down, wearing some nice comfy clothes, having a cup of tea, and playing games on my Switch. So here I am doing just that. Finally, do not forget about the tried and true selfie. No frills, bells, or whistles, just take a nice photo of yourself. Portraits like these are great for showing off different moods or facial expressions of your fursuit, as well as displaying a nice outfit or new accessories that you may have gotten for us partial fursuiters. You can utilize what you have in your environment for these. Say you're taking pictures in front of a blank wall and you want to have less negative space behind you. You can use a poster or a window or a cool art piece that you have in your home. Frame yourself in front of that for a more interesting shot. One thing I would like to highlight before we move on, this situation that we are currently in can give us unique opportunities for fursuiting that we might not normally be able to access. Many fursuiters, myself included, have reservations about going out and suiting in public when not at a furry convention or another socially acceptable setting for that. This pandemic has forced a lot of people indoors, which on one hand means that outdoor spaces are not as populated as they used to be. So as the weather starts getting nicer outside, this may be a chance for folks who are more shy or hesitant about public suiting to try some new things. For example, here's just a picture of myself from Pride Month last year. where I was able to take a very unique opportunity of walking across a painted crosswalk that was on the street of what would normally be a very busy intersection with cars and vehicles, but which had been shut down due to the pandemic. So I grabbed a photographer friend of mine, we social distanced, masked up, went out and got these shots that would normally have not been possible. Other fursuiters have had great success, climbing mountains or going hiking in their fursuits, being able to get some really great shots. So as long as it's something that you can do safely and make sure that you're social distancing while you're doing it, this can be your opportunity to do some really cool stuff. Please note that if you do choose to go outside for fursuiting right now, you must also wear a protective face mask underneath your fursuit. No, a fursuit head is not a substitute for a face mask. Fursuit heads are built to have the maximum possible ventilation and airflow, which is the exact opposite of what a face mask is designed to do. Fursuit heads don't filter anything and will not prevent the spread of viral particles. So make sure if you are going out to fursuit right now, you must wear a mask underneath the fursuit head as well. In addition to taking pictures, you can also make videos in fursuit. Any of the techniques and tips that I mentioned earlier for photography can absolutely be applied to videography as well. All of the things about hands-free photos, stabilizers, tripods, those certainly go hand in hand for video recording. Editing your videos in post, you do not need paid or professional level software to do this. Many social media apps, if you are recording a video to post there, will support basic editing functions. Cropping the screen, changing the lighting, perhaps you need to cut a few seconds off the beginning or end of the video where you took off your fursuit paw to hit the button on your camera. You can do that just right in the video app itself. If you have a laptop, it will likely have a webcam built right in, which you can use for recording. Otherwise, you can, of course, go ahead and buy one online. I had heard some folks mentioning difficulty finding webcams, but I did not encounter any when I got the camera that I am using for this recording. As you can see, it is pretty darn serviceable and it was not very expensive at all. If you don't have a webcam, you can also download free software to utilize your phone as a webcam. This is good to keep in mind if you want to do group chats or live streaming in your fursuit, both of which I will touch on again later. And of course, if you don't want to record on your computer itself, you can always use your phone. If your videos are going to involve you talking, you will likely want to use an external microphone to record sound. A fursuit head is a big thing in front of your mouth, so that will muffle your voice and can make it harder for your audience to understand you. A lot of fursuiters use small microphones that they can put inside of the mouth of the fursuit, which helps significantly. Or you can get an external microphone, whatever's in your price range, and have that on a stand fairly close to your face to pick up the sound. Then you can sync the audio track up to the video in post. Free programs such as Audacity can be used to adjust the audio, clear up any background noise or muffling that may occur due to the fursuit head. Another option, depending on which type of video you will be doing, is to record the audio separately and then edit that into the video itself. If you're doing a how-to video or anything involving a narration or voiceover, this will likely be the way for you to go. Keep in mind that you don't want to, stress out too much about this. The videos don't need to look or sound professional unless you are a professional streamer or you have a Patreon or something where people are literally paying you to make fursuit videos. This is just a very, intro primer designed for folks looking for something to have fun and keep active during the pandemic. So you do not need to worry about being the best of the best. The most important part is that you yourself are having fun. So, ideas for fursuit videos that you can make. Short videos are very easy for folks to get right into. Skits, of course, are great. Lots of folks on social media are posting funny little skits or jokes that they do. Think about things relating to your fursuit character. Maybe your character is having a bad day. Maybe they try something new and it either goes well or it goes poorly. There are a lot of creative things that you can make with this topic. Memes are super popular and, of course, super easy to make videos about in fursuit. Every day there's some new meme going on social media, so if you're looking for quick and fun things to do in your fursuit and keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the furry community, this will be the way to go. Dance videos. Fursuit dancing is extremely popular and a big subculture in its own right within our furry community. I myself choose not to dance in fursuit. The public does not need to be subjected to that, let me tell you. But for those who do, I have the utmost respect and admiration for fursuiters who have the skill to dance in suit and want to share their talents and expression with the world. It seems like a ton of fun, so if you have even the slightest bit of dance talent, I recommend doing dance videos in your fursuit. You can even do updates talking about what's going on with your life, current events, how you're handling the pandemic, anything new and exciting that's going on. Where to post these videos depends on where you are most active and what you'd like to do with them. Twitter is a very big site for furries and one that I predominantly use myself. It's got a 2-minute and 20-second time limit. You can get a lot of content into that window, but if you do happen to go over, the best thing to do is put a clipped preview of the video on Twitter and link to the complete upload somewhere else. Instagram is another great social media platform for short-form videos. They've only got a 1-minute limit on the video itself, but they do have a feature called Stories, which are temporary posts that disappear after a day. Twitter has a fairly new feature called Fleets, which is basically the same thing as this. Depending on what type of content you are making, you can utilize either of these to your advantage. TikTok is super popular, though not one that I myself use, so I'm not very familiar with its features. Some of the highlights regarding TikTok are its unique duets feature, where you can essentially make a reply video to someone else's video. There's a lot of socialization potential here, adding something onto a funny video someone else has made or joining in on a trend. Don't forget about TikTok's audio library of songs, dialogue clips, and, even user-created audio clips. These can be utilized in the videos that you make on that platform and give you some more ideas for things to do. If you have more to say and do than can be crammed into just a few seconds, longer format videos will expand your content creation possibilities. I myself run a YouTube channel called Cheetah Chat with Shetani. That is my primary series on there, where I talk about different topics pertaining to the furry community that I don't see other people talking about too much. You can check that out if you're interested at youtube.com/Shetani. Discussion videos and talking head style videos are very popular. Almost everyone has knowledge or opinions that they would like to share with the community. How-tos are another thing that you can do. I mentioned Bake Me Up Buttercup earlier with her baking and recipe series. That's a great example. Any sort of talents or hobbies that you may have, playing a musical instrument, for instance, that's something really cool. If you've got a skill and you can do that in fursuit to be more engaging, that will go over very well. Reaction videos are a thing, doing vlogs. If you yourself aren't a very creative type, this is always an option for you. Though your videos do not necessarily need to be in those formats. You can even do short films in your fursuit. Perhaps your character is one that you've established a world and a universe for, or maybe there is a story that you would like to be told and you choose to do that through combining the medium of video with fursuiting. There are even online furry film festivals that you can submit your films to, get them in front of a wider audience, and have the chance to win prizes and accolades for your work. Platforms for sharing these videos include YouTube, obviously one of the biggest and most well-known. This will get you the largest number of views if you choose to use it. However, YouTube's popularity can be both a blessing and a curse, as you'll get a very wide audience, but you can't control what types of people are seeing your videos. So you may have some bleed over outside of the furry community, which can lead to harassment and trolling and other less than desirable interaction. Vimeo is another alternative platform for longer videos. This one does not even have a length limit, so if you've got something like a feature-length fursuit film that you've made, or you've got a really long rant about this movie that you saw recently and you've done that in your fursuit, that'll be a great choice for you. This platform is less restrictive in regards to content matching. If you've uploaded anything on YouTube, you are probably very familiar with its notoriety for hitting people with copyright strikes left and right for using music or things like that. With Vimeo, you will not have to worry about that, but on the downside, it does have a smaller user base, so you may not get as much organic traffic on your videos, and you have to do a little bit more of a hustle promoting them yourself. Piggybacking off of that, streaming is another great thing you can do in your fursuit, and you don't even need to leave the house to do it. Game streaming is obviously one of the most common activities. Playing video games, card games, even tabletop games are all a great way to make new friends, connect with the community, and money has even been raised for charities and good causes through video gaming donation streams. Art can also be streamed online. We furries love to commission art of our characters and watch the artists at work bringing the masterpieces to life. If drawing in fursuit is something that you can do, it will drive a ton of viewers to your stream. Q&As, AMAs, Ask Me Anythings, TMI Tuesdays, things where you interact with your online friends and followers, have them ask you questions to help drive the conversation. Those are very popular as well. Many of the platforms that I mentioned earlier support live streaming in some capacity. Don't forget about looking into platforms that are specifically set up for hosting streams, like Twitch is more for gaming, and Picarto, which is geared towards artists. Before we transition away from videos, I would like to mention making GIFs. If you have recorded a longer format video like the ones that I mentioned earlier, you can snip short little clips out of these and make them into animations for easy sharing online. Here are some great examples of things that you can do. We've got Aries playing and cuddling with their pet kitty cat, as well as Mark giving us a very cute little lion wave. If you use Telegram or social media, you'll know how popular these are for use as reaction images. And why not use your fursuit for that instead of just, a generic Telegram sticker of somebody else's fursona or an emoji? People react great for these, and there's no need to pay somebody $1 billion to make you a custom Telegram sticker set if you can just use your own fursuit for more personality and charm. Public video projects are so much fun to participate in as well as host. If you're unfamiliar with the concept, in short, it is a creative project where many people come together to bring an idea to life. Somebody comes up with a concept for a video they'd like to make. They put out a call asking for fursuiters to submit clips. Everybody gets their part or their instructions on what they need to do. They film it, send it in, and the host puts everything together into one collaborative project. You will usually see this taking the form of a music video, as the concept lends itself well to the format, but of course, there are unlimited ways that you can use this for your creativity. If you are a fursuiter seeking such videos to participate in, keep an eye out for submission calls on sites like Twitter, Telegram, Discord, or any popular places for furries. If you can't find any to participate in and you have an idea that you don't see people doing and you want to bring that to life, you yourself can host your own project. All you need is to just get people to spread the word, and I guarantee you other fursuiters will come and want to contribute. Let's look at some examples of public fursuiter video projects that I myself have contributed to. Quarantine was a project where Ringer composed a song about what it is like being in quarantine, and for the visual, they took a bunch of clips of fursuiters showing what their quarantine experience is like and put it all together. If you'd like to check out the video yourself, there is a link to Ringer's YouTube page on screen. Another video project example is Mask Up. This was a video where fursuiters were asked to take short clips of themselves putting on a face mask or utilizing a face covering in some way with their fursuit. Topical concepts like these are quite popular, and with other people submitting and contributing, you've got something great that's more engaging than what you could just do sitting at home by yourself. Rascal did a really cool series showcasing different fursuiters from all around the world. This was a monumental undertaking that spanned several months, and I haven't even counted all of the different countries and continents that ended up being represented when the video project was done. It is such an amazing showcase of all the diversity that we have here in the furry community. And again, this is a prime example of the type of fursuiting that you can do and support without having to go out and travel. If you're looking to get into something a bit more technically advanced, you can take as example what Infernity, the Taiwanese furry convention, did for their chain reaction video. For this, what they asked was for folks to take a card, hold it up to the camera, not in fursuit, remove the card, and now they are in their fursuit. All the videos were then linked up, and the person would pass the card off to somebody else. These type of transition videos are very popular on TikTok, I know. So this is just an example of the type of things that you yourself can do. Like I said, it's a little more technologically or technically advanced in that people had to deal with props, and you also had to coordinate the direction in which the cards are being passed so that everything flowed together smoothly. But in the end, the final project was really something very, very impressive. If you, the viewer at home, are looking for such projects that you can participate in right now using your fursuit, Great Fox has an open one for their automatic Fox music video. You can go to greatfox.org to find out more information about what type of clip they want from you and how to submit that and get your video into the project. The more people submit, the faster the video will be done, and I can't wait to see what the final project is like. So I highly recommend that you check that out if you yourself are a fursuiter looking to take part in these collaborative efforts. Group video calls are also an engaging option. There is no reason to not do this in fursuit if you've got other people that you're comfortable with suiting on camera. Many different platforms that you can use if you want to start hosting group video calls on your own. Zoom is one that many of us are most likely popular and familiar with by now. Discord is a great one that I myself have been getting more involved with in recent days. It works really well for group calls such as this. Omegle is a browser-based video chat site you do not need to download a separate client for, and it is only one-on-one. Telegram recently announced that they're supporting video calls. At the time of this recording, it is just one-on-one for now, but they plan to allow group video calls pretty soon. These calls can be either scheduled or impromptu. For instance, I'm in a couple Discord servers for fursuiters, and sometimes somebody will just hop on video and see who else is available to join in the call. I'm also in a cheetah group on Telegram where all the cheetahs get together every couple months or so. We do a group video call, we chat, we wear our fursuits if we have them, play trivia games together, and it's just a really fun time. At least while interacting with other furries, you'll know that it's a safe avenue for you to be wearing your fursuit. If you, the viewer, are looking for some different groups that you can join to facilitate networking in this regard, here are a couple furry video call communities on Discord. They've got different time zones and different call schedules that they're in, so you can just try it out, see what works best for you. They're all very flexible, so don't worry about, having to make it to every single meeting. This is just something that folks are joining in for fun. And you may not even need to have a fursuit to join the calls. This is all about socializing and networking with folks during the pandemic. Another event is the Fuzzy Omegle Weekends, which is facilitated on Twitter, but takes place on the video chat website Omegle. Instead of being a group chat, this is a one-on-one thing where you get matched up with a random fursuiter who is also joining the event. There's no time limit. You can talk to them as much as you want and skip on to the next person when you are done. They meet every Saturday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. I believe that is 4 p.m. for you Texas natives. So you can check out their Twitter page at Fuzzy O Weekends if you would like to learn more about how you can start participating. Let's not forget about online conventions. As you can see, I'm attending an online convention right now. I'm wearing my fursuit and I'm having a great time. Many fursuit virtual furry cons are hosted in a live format with events that you can participate in using your webcam. Texas Furry Fiesta has a ton of events on the schedule this weekend. I know they've got fursuiter meetups that have already happened, as well as the Fursuit Jackbox games. So keep an eye out for things like that, even online fursuit parades and fursuit meet and greets. Dance competitions as well. There's a screenshot from the Anthrocon online dance comp last summer. They took pre-recorded submissions, which is usually going to be the case if you are doing fursuit dancing, though I know that some VR chat conventions have actually done live dance competitions with the help of body tracking technology. Costume contests are a thing as well. There is Temperance doing a cosplay of a Khajiit from Elder Scrolls. No, that is not a video game screenshot. That is an honest-to-goodness fursuit right there. And they entered it into the Cosplay Central costume competition. So don't forget to expand your horizons and look outside of furry conventions. A ton of these nerd fandom events have also jumped online and started hosting virtual events. So anime cons, brony cons, comic cons, other nerd fandom events like that, you can join in and you can fursuit at. So you recorded a whole bunch of stuff in your fursuit. Where to share it? Why, where the furries are, of course. And in this day and age, that means practically anywhere, though there are many sites that are more frequented by furries and have a rather large furry user base. Those including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Mastodon, Reddit, the r/furry subreddit, Telegram groups, and of course Discord servers. So it can be hard to motivate yourself to keep fursuiting in this pandemic. We do as much as we can, but in the end, you are still isolated at home and not able to physically meet up with your friends. It can take a lot to go through the effort of getting into fursuit just to do a couple little fun things for social media. You can try to motivate yourself to stay active by sticking to a schedule. You can utilize hashtag trends that you can follow on Twitter, Instagram, and other social media apps. Like Fursuit Friday is the big one where people share pictures of their fursuits on a weekly basis. You can use these as sort of an excuse or a reason for you to fursuit on a more regular basis. You can even say something like, I'm going to make it a personal goal to fursuit once a week or once a month or something like that. Anything that motivates you to get into your fursuit and keep up the activity. You can look for groups that meet on a regular basis. I mentioned many groups earlier that you can join where folks get into fursuit and interact. But keep in mind, of course, that it's important to know your own limits and only do what you feel comfortable with. If you're not feeling it one day, it's okay to skip a day of a chat group or, not take your weekly photo or something. Take care of yourself first and foremost and keep aware of your physical and mental health. If you're not in the right mindset to fursuit, when it starts feeling more like a chore than a fun hobby, that's when you know that you need to step it back, recollect yourself, get your mind and your health back, and regain the right mindset before you go out and start suiting again. Why even bother fursuiting in quarantine? There are a ton of great reasons. First of all, you need to keep up maintenance of your fursuit. When we have a long span of time between conventions or events, we sometimes don't do that as much as we should. Fursuits can't be kept in a box or a hanger for very long. It's not very good for the suit, and it needs to be maintained. After you fursuit, you have to take care of the costume. This includes, brushing it, brushing out any knots from the fur, washing, disinfecting, and by doing this, you will become aware of any rips or pop seams that need to be maintained. Anything that you normally do to keep your suit in peak condition for when we can go out to see each other once again. Suiting keeps yourself and your character in the public eye. If you're not posting a lot online, your friends are going to start wondering what happened to you. Fursuit pictures and regular updates let people know that you're okay, you're not sick, and you're doing all right. Also, if your interaction with the furry community is more of a business one, perhaps you are an artist who takes commissions, or a crafter or fursuit maker, and you have a fursuit that acts more like a mascot for your business in the community, posting pictures online can serve as more of an advertisement and help drive the customers towards your business, which of course is very important for us to keep up our income sources during this pandemic wherever we can. Even in this situation where we're all stuck inside and can't go out to see friends, there's only so much that we can do. Human beings need social interaction. Fursuiting is an avenue for that. And though we cannot do it in person, we can still communicate with each other online and at least in part fulfill that social interaction need. And finally, just wearing your fursuit makes you happy. During these incredibly stressful times, it's very important for you to maintain your hobbies and keep doing things that bring you happiness and personal joy. Fursuiting, if that is something that you enjoy doing, of course, will make you feel better, improve your mood, and promote positivity. Remember that the most important person for you to be suiting for is yourself. So at this point, what I would like to do is open up the floor to questions. I will be checking the Twitch chat. If you are watching the stream on Twitch right now, you can go ahead and leave any questions, comments, observations, or feedback in there for me to answer. I believe there will be folks in the Discord chat as well. I'm going to try and look over there. It's hard to keep bouncing around between multiple places, but let's take a look. Bear in mind that there is a slight bit of stream delay, but I'm going to go ahead and see if anyone is asking questions, anything about fursuiting, stuff like that you would like me to answer. All right, so I'm having a couple questions about my fursuit itself. So I have what is known as a use your own eyes style fursuit. This is a costume that utilizes my real eyes as well as my real hair. My fursuit maker is MagpieBones. They specialize in fursuits of this nature. If you would like to look up their work online. The reason that I chose a fursuit of this style has to do mainly with certain accommodations that needed to be met for me to be able to fursuit safely and comfortably. Though it also had to do with the fact that I have a very realistic character. My character is more of a reflection of my actual self, so I wanted to incorporate certain aspects of my physicality in my fursuit as well, and I gave those features to my fursona. And I did a ton of research trying to find a fursuit maker who would be able to meet these needs, and MagpieBones absolutely blew it out of the park. I am 100% happy with how my fursuit was represented, and I could not be more satisfied with it. Midnight Wolf asks, what was your most memorable outdoor fursuit photo shoot? That's a great question. I am not really the type of person who enjoys going out and doing public suiting. So when I started wanting to do that, it was really kind of a stumbling block that I myself had to get over. I was quite concerned with, how folks out in public would react to me being in fursuit. So the kinds of shoots that I tend to do are more solo things. I don't like doing the whole public interacting, or definitely not the children interacting kind of thing. That's just not my cup of tea. So the outdoor photo shoots that I have done have mostly been at furry conventions, though there are a few that I've done solo, with local photographers. I had, what was it? I think it was either in September or October of last year, right when the leaves were about to change in the area of the country where I live. I went out to a park. I put together a really cool punk rock styled outfit. I also dyed my hair to match the color of the apparel that I'd put together. And I got some really cool shots. I climbed up on a rock feature. It went great. The weather was perfect, and nobody bothered me at all. And I was very pleased with how those came out. Most of the time when I'm fursuiting, either I myself or my partner am taking the pictures for me, and then I go home and I do all the post-production and editing myself. So that's also another challenge for me. And it's really quite validating, to post those pictures online and see people react very positively to something that I myself am doing as just a fun little hobby with no, professional training or anything like that. Fursuiting is absolutely something that anybody can get into. Speedrunner asks, any particularly good but cheap ways to keep cool in suit, especially since my suit has lots of fur and is bulky with lots of things like tails, wings, and a mane. So the very base thing that I recommend any fursuiter wear is Under Armour or some type of moisture wicking material underneath your fursuit. It does not necessarily need to be Under Armour brand clothing. There are other brands that you can use, but anything that's kind of like a sports garment that will keep the sweat away from your body and away from your costume. Make sure that it is the kind designated for hot weather, not for cold weather, because that's going to do the opposite of what you want. But you should always be wearing that underneath your fursuit. Even if you've got a partial like me, what that will do is that will keep your body cooler, and it also keeps your sweat and skin oils away from the suit, which helps your suit last longer. I know most fursuiters will also wear a balaclava under their fursuit head. That's not something that I can do due to the unique style of fursuit head that I have, but that will help keep you cool as well. Depending on what type of fursuit you have, you can look into options such as adding a fan in the head, in the muzzle of your fursuit, to blow and circulate air on you to keep you cool. Full suiters, fursuiters who have that body portion of fur in addition to the costume, they will often wear cooling vests. Easy Cool Down is a great brand name for those. Either a full vest, or they also make a collar that you can just put around your neck and keep yourself cool while in fursuit. Another option is little handheld fans that you can just keep to blow on you while you're suiting. Many fursuit makers or, fursuit prop creators in our community can make those fans look like cans of soda or like a piece of pizza or something. So you can get a cool prop that will look good with your fursuit character, as well as keeping yourself cool while you're fursuiting. And also keep in mind that you have to take breaks, take your fursuit head off, and drink water while you're suiting. That will help keep you nice and cool. Okay, let's see. I don't see many more questions in the Twitch chat. Let me look over in the Discord. Any sort of feedback, comments, observations, things that you would like to ask. things that you would like me to touch on more that I mentioned in the video, anything that I did not mention that you think should be brought up, please go right ahead. I would love to hear what all you folks would have to say. Midnight Wolf asks again, do you have a favorite photo shoot that you've done around a holiday? Yeah, holidays are great excuses to fursuit, and it's so much fun to, use props and the time of year to really influence and enhance your fursuit photo shoots. Halloween is my absolute favorite holiday. It was something that I loved as a kid, dressing up in costume. Gee, I wonder if that influenced any of my hobbies later in life. But yeah, Halloween is a great one. I just love, the macabre aesthetic of it. All of the decorations, the movies, the pop culture, everything like that. I think it was, last Halloween, I did a really awesome photo shoot where I dressed up as a witch. I had my partner dress up as a black cat, and we did a whole series of pictures where I was like transforming her into a cat, and it was a great time. They came out wonderfully, and of course, I just love doing things with my partner. It's great to have somebody to be able to share your hobbies with, and I'm so fortunate, that I'm able to do that. So that was a great photo shoot that I've done. You can see pictures of those on my Twitter. Namira asks, are the glasses prescription? And if so, did you get a second set of frames to fit the suit better? Or did you make your normal wear frames work for the suit? Namira, that is a wonderful observation. Thank you so much for making that. Yes, these are prescription lenses. I do need to wear them to be able to see. That was a very impactful factor in me choosing a use your own eyes fursuit, because my glasses are one of the features that I like best about the way that I look. So I gave glasses to my fursona as well. And, any fursuit that I got of her to represent her would need to have glasses too. I found it would be very redundant to get a normal style fursuit head where I would have to have my real glasses underneath and then put fake glasses over top. That made no sense to me. So I found a fursuit maker who was able to work with my specifications and made very slim fitting and realistic heads that I could wear my actual prescription glasses on. So yeah, these are normal, like run-of-the-mill style glasses that you can buy. I would love to get a pair that's actually sized to my fursuit head, but as of yet, I have not found anybody in the community who makes prescription glasses sized to fursuits. And if you are just generally getting prescription glasses online that are custom sized, those are very, very, very expensive because it's not a thing that most people need. So it's not something within my budget right now. With the advent of 3D printing, I'm surprised I'm not seeing more folks 3D printing glasses frames. If anybody knows of someone in the community who could do something like that, absolutely send me their link. But yeah, these are just regular glasses. I do have a separate pair for fursuiting, but they are the same as the glasses that I wear in my normal life. So at this point, we've got time for about one more question. If anyone wants to just really quick ask something. No? Okay. So, thank you all very much for coming to the panel. I am so glad to be able to present for you here today. If you would like to follow me online, my Twitter is @ShetaniCheetah. I'm also on Instagram under the same name, and my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Shetani. All of those links are up above my head right now. If you want to learn more about who I am, what I do, my fursuit, or the background behind my character, I do have a homepage that you can check out, link of which is on the screen right there. And if you enjoyed the panel that I put on today and would like to show your appreciation, I do have a Ko-fi page set up at ko-fi.com/Shetani for donations, and you can spot me a cup of tea or two. Barring any technical difficulties, I do plan to have a recording of this panel on my YouTube channel within the next week or so. If you missed any part of the panel, if you'd like to rewatch, if you'd like to share the video with your friends who may not have been able to make it to the convention, you can absolutely do that and rewatch at your leisure. Awesome! Thank you all so much. I'm very glad that you enjoyed the panel. So I think I will be going ahead and wrapping it up now because I would love for the wonderful folks at TFF who've treated me so well today to be able to stay on time. So thank you all so much for watching. Have fun, stay safe, keep on suiting, and enjoy the rest of your weekend at Texas Furry Fiesta.